you hard, boy, I'm ripping these bars up. Spit like a sawed off, I'm sicker than nausea. Running rap like a Rajon, you need to take caution. Taking my portion, repping divine one. Shine brighter than 12 suns, you hoping that hell come. Keep thinking how you thinking, I'm cooking the well done. You can claim they're your peoples, but watch them go tell something. Everybody swear they real, but everybody be frightened. I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm rolling the blunt, but I don't care what they say, I just do what I want. I ain't talking to you, so just mind your business. Knowledge is born, and I birthed the wisdom supreme. I was here, I was there, I was all over the map. From the back, it's a rap, they ain't catch me in a trap. Why you thinking you hard, boy? I'm ripping these bars up. Spit like a sawed off, I'm sicker than nausea. Running rap like a Rajon, you need to take caution. Taking my portion, repping divine one. Shine brighter than 12 suns, you hoping that hell come. Keep thinking how you thinking, I'm cooking the well done. You can claim they're your peoples, but watch them go tell something. Everybody swear they real, but everybody be frightened. I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm rolling the blunt, but I don't care what they say, I just do what I want. I ain't talking to you, so just mind your business. Knowledge is born, and I birthed the wisdom supreme. I was here, I was there, I was all over the map. From the back, it's a rap, they ain't catch me in a trap. Why you thinking you hard, boy? I'm ripping these bars up. Spit like a sawed off, I'm sicker than nausea. Running rap like a Rajon, you need to take caution. Taking my portion, repping divine one. Shine brighter than 12 suns, you hoping that hell come. Keep thinking how you thinking, I'm cooking the well done. You can claim they're your peoples, but watch them go tell something. Everybody swear they real, but everybody be frightened. I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm rolling the blunt, but I don't care what they say, I just do what I want. I ain't talking to you, so just mind your business. Knowledge is born, and I birthed the wisdom supreme. I was here, I was there, I was all over the map. From the back, it's a rap, they ain't catch me in a trap. Why you thinking you hard, boy? I'm ripping these bars up. Spit like a sawed off, I'm sicker than nausea. Running rap like a Rajon, you need to take caution. Taking my portion, repping divine one. Shine brighter than 12 suns, you hoping that hell come. Keep thinking how you thinking, I'm cooking the well done. You can claim they're your peoples, but watch them go tell something. Everybody swear they real, but everybody be frightened. I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm rolling the blunt, but I don't care what they say, I just do what I want. I ain't talking to you, so just mind your business. Knowledge is born, and I birthed the wisdom supreme. I was here, I was there, I was all over the map. From the back, it's a rap, they ain't catch me in a trap. Why you thinking you hard, boy? I'm ripping these bars up. Spit like a sawed off, I'm sicker than nausea. Running rap like a Rajon, you need to take caution. Taking my portion, repping divine one. Shine brighter than 12 suns, you hoping that hell come. Keep thinking how you thinking, I'm cooking the well done. You can claim they're your peoples, but watch them go tell something. Everybody swear they real, but everybody be frightened. I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm rolling the blunt, but I don't care what they say, I just do what I want. I ain't talking to you, so just mind your business. Knowledge is born, and I birthed the wisdom supreme.
Wow, that bullshit is loading up. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the live. I'm gonna sit down and wait for that to load up. Was trying to play some music that I did. Ultimately, didn't get a chance to do so. Wagwan, wagwan, wagwan. Yeah, you see the cartoon art, DeVal. It's DeVal. Um, what am I specifying on today? Oh my God, I actually feel like there's so many things I've heard, so much energy that was flowing through. And I got up here with like a specific idea to talk about. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's the vibes right now. But ultimately, give me 1 second. 1 second. This thing's getting about to start tripping.
Supreme thought, supreme being, supreme light. I manifest the knowledge for wisdom to shine bright. How you think you see the moon unless in the sun bright? Women claim independence, you can never dim the light. Today's math is understanding, I'm about to get them right. The contrast to what's astral take fight. The only thing you're really missing is understanding the fight. Supreme, supreme. Starring each sage and weed, I'm about to take speed and enter me, mastering 55 degrees to deity, higher and fire and cold water into samadhi. You could never know my body. Bars. Naga.
Ha, I got it on. Ultimately. And I feel charged up now. All right, so think about it, yo. I've heard a lot of different processes, and it was like it's like ultimately, even with the Naga knowledge that I'm putting out, the post, the different, it's ultimately going back to the waves. I've heard I was listening to Brother Seti talk about the masculine. You gotta be, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta understand that, but when the balance takes place in the universe, you can't be one sided. You gotta have that balance because the balance is what's gonna allow the actual portal to open, in both halves, you understand in both parts. That's why we have two hemispheres. So I agree with Seti, but then I disagree because you don't want to go too hard on being overly masculine. And in different circumstances, yes, you need to be masculine because you don't need nobody trying to disrupt the value of your culture or your set of people. So that is definitely a dynamicism. That is a dynamicism. That is a fact that needs to be in that retrospect of plan. It was weird. Somebody popped up on here earlier, and I seen that one, and that energy that came from whoever that person was, it was like, oof. It was weird. I felt it, like, and I ain't even think about it to just now, but something made me say something about that energy. So I don't know who that person was that jumped in here and jumped out, but I felt your energy though. It didn't feel too good. All right, so ultimately, um, understanding the value of the indifference and the combination of the universal principles that are taking place, that it all breaks down to the waves. I was watching this dude talk about the Great Flood back in the day, and it was crazy how he broke down because he was like, yo, they was trying to say that the Great Flood was like 10,000 years or 1,000 years, something like that, and they found out that ultimately it was only 10 years, and how it actually took place because there's fissures all around the earth. So then think about it, the mind of a person back then, they said it was like mad water falling out of the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody just opened it up and was pouring water out of the sky. Well, what happened was the pressure, the pressure of the Titanic situations. It's like underground spaces that got like mad water and it's a lot of pressure on this water and it don't get a chance to come out often. You know what I'm saying? Actually, never. The pressure gets relieved through volcanoes because of the friction. But for the most part, the water stays under there. So, well, what happened this one particular time, and this is why the continents are like separated in the aspect, and it shows it's like literal physical proof. If you ever seen water roll over the sand, and then you go to aerial view and you look over America, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like a bunch of water that washed over America. When they show the fissures that are on the lines of the Titanic place, or where they call it, what they call them, the ring of fires and all that. Well, there's fissures under there that spit out a lot of water, and this water spat out so high that it went into space, and it was going up so high that it came down. Well, some of it that came down, it was frozen. So as soon as it hit the ground, it just froze everything. This is why animals froze in space. This is why you got mammoths like this stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like it just kind of froze everything in space, and it happens. It happened like that. It happens like that today in different places, but not as detrimental as it did that day. And they said that the ultimate value was that it lasted for 10 years for it to melt. And then when it melted, it was so much water that it flowed all over. And this is where we get the Grand Canyon and all this other stuff, right? So ultimately, knowing these indifferences and these values is always the waves. How do you flow with the waves? You know what I'm saying? You have to move with the planet, the natural order of things. This is why we get mixed up in our heads. You know, it was crazy. I wanted to do a picture of something I seen in my head, and it was called a veil. And it was a guy. It looked a little more different than this, but the illustration value I had to get more, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I'm all cartoony. I like cartoons. So this guy, this is a veil. This is what he sees every day. He sees the sun, sky, the blue sky, the clouds. You don't see nothing else. You walking around, you thinking that's your life. Everybody has that around them. We believe that when we go outside, that's what we see. It's the veil. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, if you take this off, this is what you're gonna see. A whole nother sun and a whole close universe. That's a whole different color. And that's our real night sky. That's our real day sky. It gives off enough light in the universe to where we don't need the direct light. You know what I'm saying? So that feeds our light spectrum receptors differently, which would have a different set of value when it came into synapses and how we think and how we move about, so to say. So ultimately, the different understandings is to keep you away from the universal knowledge that's coming down by the veil. So then I will project levels of light to you that satisfy some circumference of the electrical synapses. This is why we move within a day. This is why we are connected to certain things because of the veil. It kind of satisfies that value, but it's not the level of the highest spectrum of light that we're supposed to be receiving. And we think the brighter the light, the more we get. That is not always true. Light that is visible is not as efficient as light that you can't see. And these are different spectrums of light that are behind the veil. So outside of what we think we know, and you know, I always feel like that. Even when I'm outside, I feel like the sun is reflecting off something greater. I don't feel like the sun is here. I feel like it's a projection energy. You know what I'm saying? And its circumference, it stays with us in that projection aspect. It's almost like it follows you. You never notice how you walk around and it's like just feels like it follows you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always there. Hold on a second. So So understanding that this potential is a value, it's because of your potential addiction. Now, if we were getting all the light spectrums of what reflects off out of the universe, it would be completely different as far as the values and our character state and our physical addiction aspect. Like you're gonna be addicted to something that comes in. Even when you start getting healthy, you start getting addicted to the fact you want more healthy shit. So the balance is more of a retrospect because of the what you can't see. You know what I mean? So to access what's outside of you, being still. This has to move around. It has to move around with the motion of everybody else. So the more still you are, it kind of passes you a little bit, but you're not realizing this motion. So what happens is different things start to take place because you let this feel move with the day. If you sit still, you kind of pull on this on the outside, and it kind of comes in and starts to push this out. It makes it like a thin line. You know what I mean? It thins it out. So then you start to see things in a double. A lot of people are saying, I see two suns and I see this. A lot of people are like, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing you talk about. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, that's just this is, but it's real. It's real. It's the reflection of the value of the cage. You know what I'm saying? So it is real. Outside in the universe, it is so much more that's going on. It's so much more that's going on. And particularly, that's not something that we're going to sit down and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get a chance to see all that. If it did, it would change the molecular value of how you think and how you feel, how you're receiving energy. It would make things different. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately. So they have to keep that at a value. This is like the scale of people going like this. What energy you can receive and what you can't receive. It's like peanuts to somebody who got a peanut sickness, you know what I mean? And people who don't eat peanuts. Ultimately, the value starts to get real detrimental. You know, the sun burns certain people. We don't want to kill everybody, you know what I mean? But ultimately, the radiation level would be so high, it would bring a lot of detriment to values on the earth that's just not ready for that type of spectrum. So this is why it's kind of a taught in a recess to the universal principle to why certain people are being held back. We're just in a wrong time and place where certain it's you know what I'm saying? Like it's like why would I if I'm a light being, I can't stand in the dark with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get all the sun I can get. I came out of the darkness, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm getting all the sun I can get. That's the whole point. So these levels of light, they start to speak to a value. You have brothers and sisters that exist on this planet that get a lot of light, and they're dark purple blue. I can imagine if they were able just to focus in a meditative state, what would come about. So ultimately, we're talking about universal conductivity of energy that happens on a daily basis. This is Nikola Tesla. The body is a conductor of energy, but to harness that energy through yourself is to know oneself. It's to know oneself and how you conduct fluids and electricity through yourself. This is your diet. Ultimately, your diet and your mentality, because they're gonna go hand in hand. So this synchronicity, you know what I'm saying, starts to open up the value of what you're actually purposed for, who you are as a person, what you're purposed for as a battery. Your feet touch the ground and you absorb and let out energy. Your hands also, pull in energy even through the top of your head. You had a soft spot as a kid. Ultimately, you was pulling in light. These are like a battery, the flat part and the little tip part, just like a battery. You know what I mean? They label these things after the human body. So how do you make your body more efficient instead of what happens when you're calcified? It's just like the erosion on a battery. How the battery has to come out. That's calcification. It's basically the same thing. You get a salt that covers your pineal gland and doesn't allow you to get the synapses from the universe off of the food you eat. This is the detriment. And this is how they start to play a role. Ultimately, if you understand this indifferent, then you can take care of your body a little bit more better. And then you won't produce these heavy minerals or heavy metals that keep you from not conducting electricity the way you're supposed to as a high human being. Now, what does this entail? What does this entail against the value of one just saying be healthy? Well, what is health? People like to say health is wealth. And I understand these old concepts because we're trying to lead. These are narratives leading you somewhere, and there's nothing wrong with that. But health is efficiency. What is efficiency? Efficiency is comprehension. How fast can you comprehend? What is comprehension? Comprehension is the activity of your DNA function. What is your DNA function? You got to know that. You got to know where you are on the spectrum of life of your DNA function and who you are as an individual. Once you understand that, you can try to do things to break these values. A lot of people got heavy telomeres. You're going to get old real fast. This is what it is. Your DNA got caps on them. You're going to get old. It's just going to make you old because you have telomeres. Other of us, we've been meditating for years and eons and eons. So, they start black don't crack. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's because of the process over a period of time. Melanin is a universal, like my man say, sun blood. You know what I'm saying? Melanin is a universal aspect that come into your body that has melanin is very important because it can be in three places at once. Melanin is like the superhero of the moleculic world. You know what I'm saying? Like melanin can literally take its one self and split into three parts. And he could put one part in another dimension, one part where he is, another part in another dimension, and satisfy these values. This is how powerful melanin is. So understanding these capabilities, you have a right, a particular option to hold that efficiency to a value. You have to put that to work because it's your melanin. You can't just say I'm walking around with melanin. No, the melanin has to get charged off synapses. What are synapses? The brain power that you use to think. What are the receptors? Peace, Queen. You already know the vibes. The receptors that come into your body that allow you to connect the different values. This allows you to think. This allows you to move. These are synapses. And then you have different herbs in the world that actually help produce or help promote these values in your body. This is why you have receptors. You know what I'm saying? Your body don't make no mistakes. People do. They say you don't need these different things. No, you need all of this stuff because as soon as you line it up correctly with you, then it's going to start working in different unison. It's almost like having a fine-tuned car, and your car and all the car parts are shiny and they new. And as soon as you put the first fluid in there, it went through there smooth. It had everything was tight. That's how you want your body. You want your body to work in unison. You don't want to say, well, my liver do this and my lungs do this and da da da. No, they're supposed to work in a way to where they flow the energy through you. This right here that I'm speaking to now is called Kundalini. And you have to understand that you have a tree root from here that breaks off into your body, goes all the way down to your feet. These tree roots are the nervous system. And the oil travels these roots, it goes through your body and it helps your body grow every day. But you can condense that oil to your spine. And when you condense it to the spine, you send it down to 33 vertebrae. You send it to the fused vertebrae at the bottom, and you circle it back up by meditation and breathing. And then you pulling in, pushing in, pulling in, pushing in. That oil naturally rises back up, goes up through the vertebrae, and goes back through your the Abdullah Abnangada through the back. And it comes in and finds its way to the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, where it's secreted into what they like to call the golden light, and it hits the pineal gland and it shines down through your body, and it like raises stuff. You ultimately can take, and someone taught me this a long time ago. I was watching this brother, and I didn't believe that it was going to actually work, but understanding the value of them together, it does different things for you. Now, over a period of time, it will start working, but you have to couple it with helping it out. It's like saying, I can't just jump in a car and have two wheels and I'm a roll. No, you got to have the body, you got to have this part, you got to have the doors, you got the wheel, you have everything for a car to actually be a car. So having fish oil, omega-3s, and black seed oil combination, because black seed has omega-6s. Now, taking black seed oil by itself, it gets detrimental over a period of time because it doesn't have the balance out of the omega-3s, the fish oil. So the omega-6 is kind of like, it starts to mess with like your body parts and stuff. You'll if you've been doing it, something made you push away for a while. It might have helped you out, but then you started pushing away for a while. That's because black seed oil is not to be used how they promote it out. It's not just, hey, we're going to use black seed oil. No, black seed oil works better in conjunction with things. So use black seed oil in conjunction with omega-3 fish oils. Now, I think it's 1 black seed percentage to 3 omega-3s, something in that value. You got to figure it out. Look it up for yourself, but you can find it if you study. But what happens is when you do the ratio and you put them together, they start to work in unison to help your DNA unlock itself. So the particular times that you're using it, depending on what you're using, it starts to help your body promote. Instead of saying, I'm going to heal that, or I'm going to help you get rid of that sickness, the body starts to unwind. It remembers what that is, and it alleviates it. It says, no, now we're strong enough to get rid of that completely. So now when it comes back to your body, the immune system value has remembered what that was. And now it's going to remove that because you have unlocked the DNA to remember this process. See, the DNA is just not particular values and characteristics of what you are. The DNA has information in it that shows your body how to be at its best value that the divine laid into existence. And the only way you're going to get that is by giving yourself or giving your body what the divine gave you in existence. So ultimately, if I keep, putting acid in my body like sugars, the sugar is an acid. That's why it's bleached white. You see what I'm saying? Like these different things, they tear up your body. And we love them. We like how they taste. We like how they make us feel because they produce endorphins. But you can get endorphins from other ways. You know what I'm saying? So understanding the addiction that the body has taken on, from the value of understanding that we've been manipulated, you have to have your body addicted to something else. So you're going to have to replace this addiction with another addiction. So being dogmatic is kind of good sometimes. It rips you away from things, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid just to do that. Just get into something else and don't wait, ask yourself no questions. Yeah, it's going to hurt because it took so long to get all that bull crap in you. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about alignment. Imagine you going in a car, scraping all that dirt out and get with a toothbrush. And you all up in the engine and everywhere. You're going to be in there for like, yeah, it's just like you got to get every bolt, every screw. Like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But as soon as you get going, you start liking it. You start liking it. You start loving it. And then you start understanding what you're really doing it for. It's the whole purpose. That little little mix up I gave y'all right there, the mega threes with the mega sixes, do that and watch what it do for your life. Period. Just do that for a while, and then don't subsidize it with like just drinking water, trying to eat more healthier. Don't. I don't drink liquor. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink because drinking kills the seed energy. It kills in females. It doesn't work because females, y'all have a period. So when your period comes, your body naturally cleanses, which allows your oil to be ready to circulate. So if you're not pushing out a lot of nut, having sex all the time, and you're not putting a lot of alcohol in your body, and you're not damaging your body with a lot of impurities, that cycle that naturally comes, you can rise into the Christ mentality yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? This is why females were more mature. This is why we held the female on a higher aspect of a scale back in antiquity, because we knew the value of what she was and what she was capable of doing, knowing that she was the universe. But if you leave a black hole unchecked, it's going to absorb everything. It's going to eat everything and just destroy everything. You see what I'm saying? This is why she created the sun, to stabilize her energy. You see what I'm saying? It sits behind and pulls the sun in the universe. Instead of eating everything all up, they work in unison. Like, shh. You see what I'm saying? That is divinity. Understanding these pretenses, it starts to work for you. This is why I was showing everybody incremental science. I showed you from the basis of how the world tries to stop this happening to how the natural energy is still flowing around you. I showed you how that energy was connected to the universe, how the universe was spinning in the same way, and why it was spinning the same way to what it was connected to, and why Divine had that spinning. I showed you the connection from where Divine was breaking through existences, creating the womb for why she spins, and I showed you these things. And this is what Divine was giving me. He was giving it to me in the way I was able to see. Because I see in art. I see in a childlike mind. I like seeing things in colors. You know what I'm saying? I see things in funny, abstract ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is how I always get visions ever since I was little. So then I can play with it and I can draw it. And I understand it better because now I'm actually looking at it while I'm doing it. I'm learning it while I'm doing it. And sometimes I'll make a line while I'm drawing and I'll be like, why'd I make that line? It's because I'm already in the emotion of what's supposed to be taking place. I don't have to understand all the time. I'll understand as I go along. That is divine. This is me walking in faith blindly, just doing it because I know somewhere in here it says do it. So connecting that with your heart space and open up your heart space so therefore you fall in love with what you're doing. It's not a work. You know what I'm saying? It's like you actually get all into this euphoric feeling while you're doing what you're doing. You feel the work while you're doing what you're doing. You feel it, and it's like mathematics comes off it in the same breath. So as I'm doing it, it's like I'm learning, or somebody's guiding my hand while I'm doing it. It's not a particular guide though. It's what make you feel that way because of how, and then you might make a mistake, and that mistake might end up being a perfect assessment that should have been in there for something that you're going to do next. This is how this knowledge works out. So I stopped putting my brain into it. I stopped putting my, what you want to call foresight to what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just connect to it. And as I connect to it, it plays itself out. Like I said to myself earlier, I was like, yo, it looks all kitty. But I was like, nah, it's supposed to be like that. That's how I accept it. You see what I'm saying? And I have to accept myself that way. Ultimately, understanding your levels allows you to grow your levels. Once you face what you are, you can stand on that. That's levels. Until you face what you are, you can never stand above that. You see what I'm saying? And this is what's fun about being true to yourself. You know what I mean? So look, I ain't gonna hold you. I hope y'all enjoyed the vibe. Naga, man, go over there and check out that. I just dropped some Naga knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to do a little reading or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People seem to like those things, even though it's kind of shallow to me. But all right, why not? I'll do some reading for y'all too if you like that. You know what I'm saying? You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? If you like the bill, information will be down in the description after I finish ending it and all that. And I go over there and I put it in there because they won't let me do it while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you already know the vibes. Love, respect.
Supreme thought, supreme being, supreme light. I manifest the knowledge for wisdom to shine bright. How you think you see the moon unless in the sun bright? Women claim independent, you can never dim the light. Today's math is understanding, I'm about to get them right. The contrast to its astral take fight. The only thing you're really missing is understanding the fight. Supreme, supreme. Starring each sage and weed, I'm about to take speed and enter me, mastering 55 degrees. The deity, higher and fire and cold water, into samadhi. You could never know my body. Bars. Nabo.